Jordan Love is going to wind up winning more Super Bowls in Green Bay than Favre or Rodgers. Is that an overreaction?
It's an overreaction.
Oh, my God, it's the definition of an overreaction.
Well, I mean, I would only require 2, right?
Right.
Right. So, look, I think it's worth pointing out that the Packers, developmental plan is probably pretty solid, right? If we go back a month or so, it looked like this guy might not be the answer. Now it looks like he might be. They're bringing him along at the rate that they like. And for him to have a 12-year career there, I don't think is far-fetched.
Well, look, let's put it this way. Oof. They are unbeatable in the month of December. Since Matt LaFleur took over, Green Bay a perfect 16-0, winning by 10 points per game. They also have the easiest schedule remaining of any team in the NFL this season.
What? Somebody needs to figure out that formula. You need to call Connor Stallions or somebody to get to understand how they evaluate quarterbacks over there, because everyone else is always looking and they're just like, hey, Aaron, I like that. Okay, cool. Again, Jordan. And they're right on the first pick in back-to-back times. And Brett Favre was a different situation.
The way they evaluate quarterbacks is as projects, right? Like, this guy's going to be better in year 3 in our system than he would be in year 1. And they have the ability the last 2 times, where it's a small sample size, to do the weighting. I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
These guys with help, too, which matters.
Well, so should they be taking a victory lap right now? If you're if you're the leadership there, if you're LaFleur, if you're Brian Gutekunst, should you be saying, hey, everybody ripped us, everybody made fun of us, everybody said we were the worst, and look at us now?
This is how they operate. We've talked about this for years on this show, right? Do they need to go make a trade? Do they need to make a big splash in the first round? This is the way they operate. Since the turn of the century, 2 teams have won more games, right? The Patriots and the Steelers. Since the turn of 2010, 2 teams have won more games. Like, they're always right there. And, we can talk about, should they have won more Super Bowls with Favre? Should they have won more Super Bowls with Rodgers? Winning Super Bowls hard, right? And Brady ruined it for everybody. And now everybody thinks you're supposed to win 6 or 7. The fact of the matter is the Packers have the youngest team in the league and are a better December team than they were a September and October team. And that, to me, is what you're supposed to do, right? Like, get better as the season goes along.
I think it all in how you evaluate it. If you're evaluating on Super Bowls, you go, I mean, maybe, like, yeah, they're bringing this guy on, they're 500 or a game. So yeah, are they going to be in the mix? They're going to be in the mix, but are they going to be the front runner, or you can go get a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning in Denver, or Tom Brady, or you can go get a Matt Stafford in the Rams and go win them. It's all about what you want, right? Like, they definitely develop players. To give them credit, they're developing paper, but that's the deal.
What you want is a chance.
Yes.
And they've had a chance just about every year. They lost in the conference championship twice. They lost in the divisional round twice. And I think that some of those things you can chalk up to maybe if they would have gotten someone other than Jordan Love, it would have been a difference maker. But their quarterback went on to win back-to-back MVPs after
But that's what I would say. I would say that it all depends on the way you could, because if you're talking about could you have given Aaron Rodgers more or what could have happened differently, that would be the question. Because, again, you did all those things. You have this record. The Hall of Fame quarterback matters. You're always in the conversation because that dude's really good,
which is why,
and has been really good for 18 years. So that changes all the fray, right?
I'm with you. Let's not relitigate any of that anymore. Right now, Jordan Love, fill in the blank. Right now, the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love is what?
Their quarterback of the future.
Yeah,
sure. I think that he's done enough. It was a rough start, but he's done enough. And the way that offense operates, he operates it excellently, especially out of the play action. Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, I do think, is a match made in heaven, and they will be together for an extended period of time. And he's going to get his money soon.
Very important to remember, they're all growing together. Right. Every receiver and tight end on that team is in either his first or second season in the NFL.
That's right.
They're all coming together.
They're rebuilding the right way. That I will give them credit for, because you're taking your lumps. You're a 500 team who's going to the easiest part. You're going to win 10 games, right? Maybe 11 games. So you're going to win these games. You're going to walk in this with the youngest team in football. That's
10, 11 in your rebuilding year?
That's huge.
Solid.
By the way, if everything holds the way right now it projects to, they would play a playoff game at Detroit, where they just won.
Yes, they did.
On Thanksgiving. Keep a close eye
put a beat down
on the Green Bay Packers.
They beat Kansas City, they beat Miami, they beat Dallas, they beat Buffalo. They played on 13 days. They played 92 snaps against Buffalo. They come back on a short week compared to a team that was off 10 days, and it was 13-6 at half. The second half, they got dog walked. I get it, right? They weren't physical. They weren't all this. They're exhausted, bro. You play 3 games in 13 days and put the level of competition they played. Let's not write off the Eagles right now. By the way, been very physical most of the season and found ways to win against very good teams, and all of a sudden we're going to write them off because they play a bad game. I'm not in for that.
Graziano, so help us, because you're always the voice of reason. So I got Philly fans up in my mentions tweeting me literally, Sirianni sucks. This is what I'm hearing from a team that has the best record in the National Football League by themselves, 10-2, and as he pointed out, they've beaten every good team on their schedule in the last 6 weeks, and then they ran into a buzzsaw. How concerned should the Philly fan be?
Well, I don't think as concerned as Rex. And Rex's take was reasoned, right? He's saying, like, look, they look like a championship team that's tough enough to beat you when they don't have their best stuff, which is what Philly has kind of been over the last month or so, because I don't even think the most hardcore Eagle fan would argue that the defense looks like it did last year. It doesn't.
Sure.
And so, but they're finding ways to win. It is not writing them off to say San Francisco is better. You could be the second best team in the NFL right now and still not be as good as San Francisco. So I think the Eagles know what their issues are. They know what they have to do to fix them. They bring in a guy yesterday, right? They signed Shaq Leonard, the former Colts linebacker, to help stabilize things on defense, and I think that will help to some extent. But they need to be better. They need to be sharper. They know this, and they need to be better and sharper this coming week.
And Rex made the point multiple times yesterday as well. We paid a lot more attention to the Eagles losing their offensive coordinator than we did their defensive coordinator. But Rex was very critical on that side of the ball. And so now, as Dan mentions, they add Shaq Leonard. How much of a difference can that make?
He is an electric athlete and a very smart football player. I think it can make a difference. It's going to address some of the issues that the 49ers like to pick on linebackers.
Right.
But it's not going to solve all their problems. And to Jeff's point, I think throwing the Eagles out is not what we're doing, but accepting that it wasn't just last week that we're reacting to. If it was just last week, I think the rest and the 49ers having a grudge and all that stuff is something that matters. But they've had issues all season long. To the point you were making, I think a lot of it is about not just losing coordinators on both sides, but the other coaches that go with them have to go also. And this team has been through a lot. So I think it's fair to say that they are not head and shoulders above everyone else like they were last year. They're in the mix, and they haven't beaten the 49ers this season, so it feels like the 49ers are in front of them.
Yeah, listen, I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now, but we had talked about that the week before. But the issue is you looked at the 49ers had explosive plays in the middle of the field, right? Debo takes that thing and goes, a little short pass and takes it vertical. Then they throw the screen pass. Same thing, he takes that thing and goes vertical, right, and goes scores. The Eagles have to solve the explosive plays issue, right? Because that's what they didn't do last year that they're giving up. But you looked at the week before with the Bills, they had them at 3rd and 6 and longer a ton, and all of a sudden Josh Allen makes all these plays with his legs to extend drives, right? They got to get off the field on 3rd down. But these are things that you go back in the film and they are correctable. It's not like they're just getting out, but they have to figure that part out. I get it. San Fran played a great football game. They're a very good football team, the best in the league right now. But the Eagles can compete with the 49ers.
I mean, everybody's mistakes are correctable. The problem is they haven't corrected them. Like, they've been winning games, but these mistakes have been existing for the entirety of this season. That's why they went and got Kevin Byard. That's why they went and got Shaquille Leonard. So they recognize these issues are not just like, let's get in the film room. These are like,
okay, but let me ask you this. Had they scored touchdowns their first 2 drives?
We're looking at a different game.
Perfect. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So their offense didn't keep up with what would have taken pressure off the defense as well. This doesn't just go to one side of the football is what I'm saying.
Agreed.
Because if they score the touchdowns in the opening 2 drives, when San Fran can't get out of their own way, it is a totally different game. That's the NFL.
So if they had scored touchdowns at the beginning, it would have been different. What'd you say about if in our promo?
If was the fifth, we all be drunk.
And instead, everyone in Philly is drunk now, and they want to fire everybody, and they're all upset. And this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say to you, Dan Graziano. If the Eagles beat the Cowboys this Sunday, they will be the 1 seed in the NFC for certain. They still have coming up the Giants twice, Arizona, and a game at Seattle that at best, let's call that a pick-em. I would say the Eagles should win that one as well. They certainly should beat the Giants twice and Arizona. They have a 1-game advantage right now on both Dallas and San Francisco, and the Lions, actually, who also are 9-3. If they beat the Cowboys this Sunday, then, as Sal Paolantonio loves to say, the road to the Super Bowl will once again go through the concrete jungle.
Yes, if that is true. I believe that to be the case because, again, that schedule gives them a chance to work some things out in terms of what they need to work at. And the offense, to your point, will get healthier. Dallas Goedert could be back this week, if not likely next week. So that'll be a big help, too. But you know, your if is an if, like a capital I, capital F, because the Cowboys are playing great. The Cowboys played them toe-to-toe in Philadelphia a few weeks ago, and the Cowboys are undefeated at home this year. They haven't won that game yet.
The other big if is about Jalen's knee or Jalen's concussion and Jalen's health. Like, that is an integral part to why that offense was as good as it was last year. They aren't doing as many design runs, and we saw they put away some big games, including the Bills game, with design runs from the quarterback.
Agreed.
These are scrambles. These are different than the design runs that they need to compromise the defense and make them really concerned, and it allows them to attack down the field with AJ.
Design runs they still have in for him are ones where he gets 1 yard and he has to collide with 30 other people. Like, right? I mean, like that can't be helping those issues you're talking about.
As the morning continues, we should talk more about, oh, by the way, the 49ers are suddenly the best team in the NFL, right? Their quarterback is currently the leading candidate for MVP in the league. McCaffrey looks spectacular. Deebo Samuel is electric with the ball in his hands as any receiver in the entire sport. The 49ers, and the defense is, right? The 49ers are easily the most complete, when healthy, the most complete team in the National Football League, yes?
Absolutely. And listen, they are the most explosive offense. That's the hard part, is there's not one part of their game that you can take away. Like, you think about the Eagles back, everybody's shutting down Brown. Okay, we'll go to Devontae Smith. Right now, you look at the 49ers, it can be Kittle, Ayuk, it can be Deebo Samuel, it can be McCaffrey. Like, the names go on and on. That's tough to stop.
They have incredible, exceptional athletes on the offensive side of the ball. They need to be healthy. And it seems like they're never healthy at the right time at the end of the season because their offense is predicated on those special players being able to do special things.